Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric. Here we got this 2024 Tesla Model S Plaid in stealth gray. And in this video, I'm going to take you guys through and show you guys how to do a bulk PPF wrap on the hood. This is a massive, massive hood compared to all the other Teslas out there. And it's not going to be too terribly complicated, but I'll take you guys along and show you how it's done. Okay, so we got the hood back rolled on. I'm just going to spray the top of the film with my True Spray keg system, and we're going to pull the film up, and we're just going to get a bunch of slip solution under the film. Do the same over here. Okay, we cut a little bit too much PPF than what we actually needed, so we're going to have a lot more waste than what I would like. Well, we got our squeegee, we got our hot water tack solution. What we're going to do now is we're going to start over here on the driver's side. We're going to get our film tacked down to the fender. Lock that in place just like so. And we're going to go over to the passenger side, do the exact same thing. Except what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a little bit of tension across the back. Now, not a lot, just a little bit. There we go, that's good. Now what I'm going to do is I have everything dry still over here, which is good. All I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the film back and I'm going to stretch the film diagonally across the hood, just so the way everything lays down flat on this corner. It's not going to be that much stretch that's needed. There we go. Okay, that's good. Let that all tack down. Get a little bit of tack solution behind the film there on the bumper. Just play it safe. Do the same thing over here. Like I said, almost no stretch needed, but that's what you want to hear. Nice and dry. It's going to be a very, very easy hood to install. Right now, before we get too carried away, I'm just going to spray a bit more slip solution on the top of the PPF to help the squeegee glide. Now I'm going to come from the back here, take the palm of my hand, and we're just going to push as much of the air out of the film from under the film as possible. This is going to help make sure that the film is laying nice and flat, and it's just going to help aid in a better quality PPF installation. Now comes the most fun part about all this, and that's squeegeeing. So we're going to start right in the middle, and we're going to do one strip down the middle, and then we're going to come right across the back, and then we're just going to overlap our squeegee strokes. And we're going to work our way down. There we go. Super easy hood to install PPF on. Once you got your 4-corner stretch, or your 4-corner tack, I should say, once that's done, just make sure you got all the air out from underneath the film, and you're gonna be good to go. You want to work on this ridge. Make sure that no solution is getting left behind on that ridge. You can see right over here across the back, we got some fingers popping up. It's fine. We're just gonna pull the film back, release some of that tension. We're gonna get some tack solution underneath there. We're gonna squeegee that down. There we go. Okay, so passenger side is done. Let's do the driver's side now. So what I want to do is come along the back, and we're going to squeegee everything out, and then we're just going to start working our way down, overlapping squeegee strokes. There we go. That's good. Now we can start pulling everything else down. And we'll come down that ridge a couple times, starting right in the back. Those ridges are huge traps for moisture to get left behind. There we go. Now all I need to do is lift the film up, spray some tack solution behind there. And then squeegee that down. Okay, that's good. Now what I want to do is take my microfiber drying towel, and I want to take and wipe the whole hood down and look for any kind of contamination that has been left behind. Reason being is right now is the perfect time. If you find any contamination, now is the perfect time to be able to lift the film up and go underneath the film and get it out. Reason being is the adhesive has yet to set itself in place, and therefore it's super easy if you want to pull the film up. In fact, if we come right over here, this is perfect. We'll show this on camera. I'm not sure if you can see this right here. What I'm going to do is show you guys how to get that piece of contamination out without having to lift up the entire hood. So I'm not sure if the camera is picking it up or not. Maybe try going in some different angles. Anyways, there's a speck of dust or something underneath there. So what I want to do right now in this situation, seeing as how the contamination is isolated to this driver's side front corner, and we have this ridge right over here, I'm going to lift the PPF up right up until this ridge, get that out, and then lay everything down. So I'm going to get my spray keg. Now what we want to do is, you can see how easy this is pulling up. Like, what I want to do, actually the whole front's pulling up, so this is what I mean about the paint protection film taking time to set itself into place. So right now what I did is I just pulled the film down and got all the air out because I didn't want it to lift all the way up. There's no point in lifting that up. But we have our piece of contamination. It's right over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift this up very carefully. And I'm just pulling it along the adhesive under the film and making sure that it's out. Now before I get too carried away, I'm just going to squeegee over that area to make sure that it's gone. And it is. There's nothing there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the PPF up one more time. Get my slip solution underneath it. Spray some slip solution over the top of the film. And we're going to get our air out. And there's really not even a whole lot of stretch that's necessary to get the PPF to lay nice and flat on this Model S hood. So I'm not even going to bother doing the 4-corner tack or tacking this corner down again, because as you can see, the film's laying down. There's no fingers here. There's no fingers there. There's no fingers across the front. So there's really no point in adding any unnecessary tension here. So we're just going to start at the ridge, squeegee down. We're going to re-inspect this squeegee area, or this squeegee stroke right that I did, and make sure that there's no contamination there. And that's good. Now we're going to get everything else down over here. So I wanted to make sure that if there's contamination that shows up, that I'm showing you guys in real time how to take that out and deal with it in the middle of your installation. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to come over here to this corner, lift this up a little bit, get my tack solution underneath it, and I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. We want to flush out all the slip solution that's left. Okay, that's good. Now, what I'm going to do, take my drying towel, I'm going to dry the hood off one more time, and we're going to inspect for any contamination. So even when I'm drying the hood, I'm not using a ton of pressure on the drying towel, because if I put too much pressure on, I could probably even slide the film. So you want to be careful, because the PPF is now starting to set itself into place, and you don't want to have too much pressure on there and accidentally distort the film. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let these dry out overnight. The time right now is 4:16 p.m. so it's just about the end of the day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this sit just like this. We'll come back in the morning and we're going to trim everything, and we'll show you what it looks like then. Okay, so it's about 10 a.m. the next day, and we're gonna finish wrapping the edges on the hood of this Model S. As you can see, if you look along the edges right here, there's no soap residue left behind. The film is nice and sticky, so this is gonna be absolutely perfect to wrap our edges. Now, what we wanna do, we wanna trim off all of our excess film. So we gotta be careful, but we're gonna start right over here. We're gonna come around and we're gonna trim the excess material off. So what I wanna do is I wanna make sure that it's not sticking to the vehicle. Last thing I wanna do is potentially run the risk of cutting the paint with a knife. So I'm going to lift the film up on the side of the vehicle. I'm going to kind of roll it up a little bit too. Now that the film is away from the vehicle, we can take and trim off some of the excess material. So I'll come right over here, pop that blade through. So I only have the blade pushed out just a little bit on the knife. And then I'm just gonna make that corner. So this first cut isn't gonna be the final cut. I'm gonna trim it one more time before I wrap the edges, but for now, all I wanna do is just get rid of the majority of the excess PPF so I can have a much easier time to wrap the edges. When I get down here to the corner, all I'm going to do is just round it out. I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to wrap those corners shortly. And I'm going to switch spots with you right now. Now what I need to do, before I get too terribly carried away, is I need to take and pull the PPF up off the vehicle so it's not sticking. If you're wondering why I did not do this the night before, is because I still wanted to have that tension on the film to keep the film in place, because with just the slip solution underneath the film, it took a while for the slip solution to be able to evaporate and for that adhesive to bond itself to the paint. So that's why I didn't trim all this off last night. That being said, I could have trimmed off the sides. The sides would have never lifted. It would have been the front where all the tension was that would have lifted. You can see we still have some slip solution that's kind of left itself on the film. Careful when you're doing this, that way you don't accidentally pop the PPF up off the paint. Okay, that's good. Now we'll pop our knife out just a little bit. Oh, that was a pretty jagged cut. Thankfully, that's not our final cut. We're gonna do some more yet to make this look really good. There we go. Okay, now we can wrap the edges. Before we do that, we're gonna pop the hood up. Throw away all of our excess material. And now I'm gonna grab my blade snapper, which you can see I got a broken one being used as a hood prop. I make good hood props, in case you're wondering. But we're gonna start right up over here. So if you wanna come around a little bit, So what I'm doing right now is I'm getting the film wrapped about halfway around that corner, and you can see that it's wanting to create a bit of a finger right there. So what I'm gonna do is, this is kind of hard to do with two hands, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pinch with my middle finger and the thumb. I'm gonna pinch the PPF, and I'm gonna start right in the corner, and I'm gonna leave just a little bit of film to wrap around, and then I'm just gonna angle it down like so. And then I'm gonna come back over here and do the exact same thing. So that's how I'm gonna notch out that corner. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. There we go. Now, what I'm gonna do is take and cut this in half. So I don't wanna wrap all of that material, because at the end of the day, there is really no point in doing that much of an edge wrap. So, probably gonna be hard for you to see this on camera, but I'm using my middle finger as a guide to run the blade through the excess PPF. I'm gonna get down over here to this corner. I'm gonna go nice and slow so I don't accidentally pop the hood up or anything like that. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come right over here. Actually, I need to get my torch handy. This is where we're gonna use the butane torch. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my thumb, I'm gonna wrap that around a little bit. You can see how that's creating a really sharp finger right there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my torch, I'm gonna come from a distance, and I'm just gonna kiss the film with some heat. And then what I should be able to do is just wrap that all the way around that corner, just like so. And then I'm gonna come back with the torch, just give it a little bit more heat. And there we go, we got a perfectly wrapped corner that's never gonna lift. I'm gonna pop it up so you can see. We have a little bit of excess material right here that I'm gonna wrap. I'm gonna wrap this section in place, and then I'm gonna trim that off. So let's go back over here to the front corner. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I create a bit of a sharper finger there. There we go. Gave it some heat. That's gonna soften up the material, help it to be wrapped. And I'm gonna come back, give it a little bit more heat, press it down, and there we go. We got ourselves another perfectly wrapped corner. Now what I can do is I can take and run my thumb along this front edge, back and forth. Every time I'm going back and forth, I'm just slowly wrapping the film more and more around that corner. Like I said, we're gonna trim this little piece off. So we're gonna start right here, and we're just gonna round that out to make that edge look really nice underneath the hood. And we'll give it one more kiss of heat there, and now we can keep moving on. So let's do the front, the very front of the hood. So these butane torches, they're amazing to have. So we're gonna start right over here, and we're gonna cut our corner down to what it needs to be. There we we go, that's good. Now, let's warm that adhesive up underneath the film. We're gonna wrap that around the corner. It's hard to see it on camera, I understand. Now, I'm just gonna lift this up. Give it a little bit more heat. And then what I'm gonna do is, actually, this is gonna be perfect amount to wrap. So I'm actually gonna leave this. I'm just gonna wrap this right around, around the edge. And I'm just gonna go back and forth with my thumb. If you have a wrap glove, use a wrap glove for this. It's gonna be a little bit uncomfortable on the thumb to do this, but I'm gonna make it work. There we go. Good thing about these Tesla Model S is they have a nice flat edge on the inside to wrap. Now I'm just coming along here with the heat. Now we get it nice and wrapped. Go over that one more time with my thumb. There we go. Now we can continue onwards. So I'll get you right over here. So we're gonna put that down. There we go. Now, I'm gonna warm that film up with the torch, and then we're gonna wrap that corner. Now I'm gonna take and cut. Now we can take and wrap this all the way around that edge. That's good. Now I'm just coming back with my torch. I'm just giving that edge some heat. And I know it's not going to lift up. Okay, I'm not going to go over the entire edge wrapping. It's very time consuming and probably very boring, and most of you probably don't want to watch it, but I figured I would just show the front of the hood where we have these sharp corners and how I deal with that. And then actually, you know what, let me show you the back corner of the hood. Now I'm actually going to close the hood. So we're going to come over here. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do one of these corners. So we're going to do pretty much the exact same thing we did. I'm going to snap my blade off one more time, just to make sure that it's nice and sharp for this. These back corners can be quite finicky to do. So what I am going to do is, I got my blade out just a little bit. I'm gonna I'm gonna find a corner to kind of demonstrate this on so you guys can see. Actually, you know what? We'll use this corner of the mirror, for example. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do, but it's gonna be on the corner of the hood. Basically what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna pull my blade out for this, is I'm gonna stop just before the back of the hood rounds. And then I'm just gonna take and I'm gonna create a notch on that back corner. So I'll show you that here. So we're gonna start right here, just like so. And very slowly, I'm gonna take the knife around that corner to about there. And then I'm creating my, if you have a set of tweezers, this would make your life a lot easier. In fact, I do. So I'm gonna grab those and use them. So I'm gonna take the tweezers, I'm gonna come in here, and lift the PPF up. And there we go, just gonna pop that out. So these corners, they suck to wrap. What I am gonna do now is I'm just gonna reach in over here. I'm gonna pop the hood up. Now, if we look down in here, I'll be able to wrap this edge and have a nice notched out corner. So I'm just taking my thumb, running my thumb along that corner just to get that rounded out. And we're gonna do the exact same thing on the back edge of the hood, which you're probably not gonna be able to see. But that's how I deal with the back corner. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more paint protection film content. We got lots of good stuff in the pipeline that I think you guys are all gonna enjoy.